The presentation of the Buddhist name. The Buddhist name Shaku Josho, pure illumination, is hereby presented to the late Jason Allen Kagawa, who passed away October 2nd, 2024 at the age of 48.
武天三害中、恩内不動断、気温入無意、真実本社、ナモキエ仏、ナモキエ法、ナモキエ僧。ダマンダ仏、ダマンダ仏。
即の上昇高麗語、
種、特殊現芸創世界、特徴心尿発症時、有言の人間人数、重症地四次四へ、本師論難量天使、超高難消防殺来、三道ルシ十条教、凡行専業気楽法、天神も殺論中下、報道因果牽制や、方言ねこゆたり、気象上司演ゆ神事、漠然本部新人ポーツ、承知承知即年派、必死無料公明道、教習所開封系、同社結晶道南省、唯名上昇活入、万年地力変音種、変満特合感染症、三不三神経音音、動末法滅動非、一生動悪地偶税、死縁名外症名化、天皇六名仏性異、公以上三行逆は、公明名の県人年、介入本願大地会、行者少女今後し、長期一年総合、四位内と逆三人、特徴発症市場ら、検診公開一大教、返記暗妙官密祭、戦争囚人反戦人、法廷二の小弁牛、国中悪人唯長物が薬剤摂取中、今の証言水風景、大非無権上昇が本資源空明仏教、全民天幕本部に新宗教商工編集、天弱本願偶惑性、現来生自林伝へ、聖地義上位昇し、特入弱上無意悪筆致新人に納入、愚教内自主しと、要塞無変極上は、道徳自主言のし、有意化心し、放送説、なまなぶ、なまなぶ、なまなぶ、なまなぶ、なまなぶ、なまなぶ、がにしくとく、世のせにさい、道北母内心、おうじょあらこ。サマンダー、サマンダー、サマンダー、サマンダー、サマンダー、サマンダー、サマンダー。
Good morning, everyone. I guess turn it up a little.
Raise the mic higher, maybe.
It's on. Yeah. Okay, is it better? Okay, thank you. Before we start, please silence your cell phones if you have not done so already. My wife Sharon reminded me I had to do this. So. And I always tell her, I always do what she tells me to do. You know, life can be difficult. We all face challenges from time to time. That is why it is very important to laugh and enjoy life whenever you can. I think that is what I like the most about my wife Sharon. She's always laughing, usually at my expense. But you know, losing a son or a daughter has to be one of the most difficult things that you will face. It just goes against the natural order of things. You know, you question, why did this happen? You know, ultimately, there is no answer. And that is when you have to start depending on family and friends to pull you through. For example, daughter Kelly put everything aside to take over and to find out what was going on and what had happened. Brother Reuben drove down to the border to retrieve Jason's pet dog, Onyx. And if you look at the picture, that's Onyx right there in the picture. Yeah. Son-in-law Mark then drove to LA to bring Onyx back to Fresno. You know. Onyx now lives with Junior and June. And Jason's childhood friend Ryan hired Mexican private detectives to aid in the search. And I know many of you did your best to comfort Junior and June, even knowing there's only so much that you can do and say. But really, all you can do is be a friend, right? This all came at a time when Jason had reached a point in his life where he had found peace. He was living in a place that he loved and really excelling at his job. Hopefully, this has provided some degree of comfort to the family. I will now call upon Junior to give the eulogy.
Good morning, everyone. I'm going to go over some of the things that Jason grew up in. Anyway, Jason and his sister Kelly grew up in the Sunnyside area of Fresno, which really has a small town atmosphere where you know all your neighbors and classmates. You would eat at Javier's restaurant, shop at Save Mart, have birthday parties at the local Me and Ed's, and Jason and his friends would have sleepovers on weekends, play soccer at Ayers School, and Little League baseball at Bateman Field. And Jason went on from Ayer to Edison Computech Middle School. During graduation, he was the only student to be recognized for perfect attendance from kindergarten through 8th grade. 9 years without missing a single day. I didn't know that. And I didn't know how much he missed in high school because I think he cut a few days. But he wasn't too proud of that accomplishment, but nonetheless, I think it was quite a deal. And to be the only one in the whole school that ever did that. When Jason's classmate entered high school, many families moved on from Sunnyside to the North Fresno or closed for newer schools and larger homes. And our family moved as well to the Clovis West High School area, and Jason graduated from Clovis West. Those great times at Sunnyside will never return, but Jason and our family have learned that those friends that we made during that period of time have deep roots and will forever remain our friends. I've seen a lot of them today. Jason loved baseball, from T-ball, Little League, junior high school baseball, 15-year-old All-Star baseball, Winter League, and I just saw the originator of Winter League, Mr. Steve Cloud, and high school baseball, and Japanese youth baseball. I think it was a Nisei baseball. His greatest strength was hitting, as he hit line drives and very rarely struck out. In junior high school, he started wrestling, and he fell in love with wrestling. And in his words, it's you against your opponent. In other words, no one's going to make difference in the outcome except yourself. His greatest strength was that, oh no, I'm on the wrong line now. I just want to tell you one wrestling story. Jason qualified for the state wrestling championships in his junior year. They go through a long progression. You go league, and then you go section, and then area, and then finally the state. And you have to place in the top 3 in each one of those categories to move on to the state. California being a big state, it's very, very difficult to win a state championship. But no, he never won a state championship. But I remember he got into a wrestling match with an opponent that had a very skilled reversal technique. And just when you didn't expect it, he reversed Jason and won the match. And Jason was very sad and just stood there in disbelief. And then the following year, which was quite a surprise, he ended up wrestling the same guy. And he's facing him face to face. And what do you know if Jason didn't prevail? And the poor guy, he couldn't be consoled. He was crying. His coaches couldn't stop. I mean, he just knew he could beat Jason, but it didn't happen. So that was the only story. And Jason took it like nothing ever happened. He went on, but he didn't win the state championship. He got eliminated as well. One weekend, this is just to illustrate how much he liked sports. He had a wrestling tournament, a school wrestling tournament on a Friday. Then on a Saturday, there was a Winter League doubleheader that he played all day Saturday. Then on Sunday, there was a judo tournament on Sunday that took the whole day, and he loved every minute of it. Some of us would never want to do that, but he loved it. After graduation from Sacramento State College, Jason embarked in his career in sales. He moved to San Diego area where he sold advertisements for a company that published a weekly newspaper, advertising paper. And I think this is where he got his taste of Mexico, the weather, the food, the ocean, and the cheap prices of everything. His next home was in San Jose, where he sold leases for copying machines and later on computer chips. And he won several awards for his achievements in sales. but the high cost of housing in the Silicon Valley limited him to sharing an apartment or house with numerous other people. So he moved back to Fresno, and it was during this time that he frequently saw his nephew, Alex, and his niece, Andy. I could tell he loved them because when both of them, or one of them, didn't come over, he was very disappointed. Then he would look at me and ask, "Why aren't they here? Where are they?" And I just knew that he wanted to see them. Jason also enjoyed going out to lunch quite frequently with his uncle Harvey Hanamoto. He looked forward to eating at different restaurants and smoking a cigar afterwards. A little over 2 years ago, Jason started working for a company called Restaurant Activity Report. And basically they sell contact for leads for new and existing restaurant supply needs. He worked diligently, and he started it every day at 6 a.m. because many of the clients are on the East Coast. He met and exceeded his sales goal, and he kept getting better as time went on. And in September of 2023, Jason obtained from the Mexican Embassy a 1-year legal permission for temporary residency in Mexico, which was later extended to 3 more years after year 1. Jason rented a condo near the beach and worked from home. After work, he would walk his dog Onyx for long walks every day. Then he would have dinner at nearby restaurants, then smoke a cigar afterwards. He would return home, get on his cell phone and talk to his friends, Barry Barnes, Steve Cloud, or many other of his friends. I talked to Steve just recently since Jason's passing, and Steve said that he missed Jason a lot. And believe me, Steve, he liked talking to you as well. On October 2nd, his dream came to an unexpected and tragic end. And for those of you that don't know this, so if you are a U.S. citizen and you die in a foreign country, you are subject to the laws and regulations of that country. And you must deal with their embassy. And because of the cause of Jason's death, it becomes even a longer and more complicated journey to get his remains back to the United States. And at this time, I want to recognize Chris Sandoske, pardon me, Chris, if I mispronounced it, Jason's friend that he met while he was looking for housing in Mexico. Chris lives in Costa Mesa and visits his girlfriend every weekend in Mexico. And during that time, he would visit Jason, and they would go out to dinner and just hung around. And so they got to be pretty close friends. And when Jason was missing, Chris was a great comfort to our family because he was looking for Jason, and he also talked to the police and private detectives and did some investigation on his own. And thank you, Chris, for being such a good friend. Barry Barnes, Jason's close friend from his time in San Jose. Barry called us and kept us informed on what he knew about Jason. Barry also shared information about Jason to help investigations during the time he was missing. Thank you for Barry for being, for visiting. Also, he visited Jason while he was staying in Mexico. And thank you, Barry, for being like a brother to Jason. Scott Staples, a relative through marriage to our family, has a lawyer friend in Mexico. Our family hired this lawyer in hopes of getting Jason's remains released from Mexico, and dealing with the Mexican authorities, it's not easy. Scott and Kelly and the lawyer worked through the long and complicated process and finally were able to obtain Jason's release. And thank you, Scott, for bringing Jason home. Ryan Cloud, Jason's friend since kindergarten, contacted me asking what happened to Jason. Ryan said he talked to Jason on the morning of his disappearance. I told him that we hired an investigation group and they have not located Jason yet. Ryan hired his own investigators and worked with Kelly for weeks until Jason's remains were found and returned home. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you. Lastly, I'd like to thank Kelly for being there for June, Jason, and me. Jason, your mother and I miss you and love you. Thank you.
Alex and Andy would now like to share a few words about their uncle.
So, I am Jason's nephew, and this is my sister, Andy. And I wrote a letter to him. Happy almost birthday. I want to say I won my fantasy football championship. I also just got Madden 25. I miss playing video games with you. I also want to say that it has been extremely tough without you here. I hate to see my mom, Papa, and Nana in pain every time I see them. Seeing my mom cry almost every day crushes me. I hate seeing it. I miss you so much. You were such an idol to me. I remember you sticking your grimy hands right into my food every time I saw you. That was really funny. I love you so much. Go Jets. Miss you. Love, Alex and Andy.
By the way, that was all Alex. Yeah, he did that.
Thank you, Alex and Andy. Just a little bit of trivia. I've got a grandson named Alex and another grandson named Andrew and a third grandson named Max. And I keep trying to get Mark and Kelly to buy a dog and name it Max. Just kidding. But, now it's your turn. I'd like to open the mic up to anyone who would like to say something about Jason. Oh, please first introduce yourself when you get up here. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Ryan Cloud, and I'm one of Jason's oldest friends. I want to first begin by expressing my sincere condolences to Kelly, June, and Junior, and the rest of the Kagawa family for their loss. I know how close of a family you are, and how great of parents you were to Jason. So thank you for always welcoming me and allowing me the opportunity to come up here and talk on behalf of my friend. When I think of Jason, so many things come to mind. More recently, Kelly and I would talk about his famous selfie pictures on social media where it would just show a picture of his hand with a cigar like this. Just to show what cigar he was smoking right then. But But to summarize our friendship over so many years, I'll need to talk a little bit about Air School. I met him in 1982 in the first grade in Mrs. Ashida's class. From there, we were best friends from elementary school through junior high and high school and early college. We just had a lot in common, whether it was our sense of humor, sports, video games, and oh man, all the years and money we wasted on baseball cards. We did everything together as kids. We never missed a birthday. He was always there for me. He was there for my first communion, my high school graduation, things like that. And I was always there for him as well. On weekends, we'd either be playing wiffle ball in my backyard or I'd be at his house watching Mel Brooks movies. We love reciting the line, "It's good to be the king." We had a lot of traditions. Every time a Mel Brooks movie would come out, we'd have to see it. We also loved all the chain of Jean-Claude Van Damme movies during those years. We never missed. Our favorite team we used to love talking about was the old Oakland A's team with Mark McGuire and Jose Canseco. And he and I, for those several years, would grow our hair as long as we could in the back before our parents would make us cut it. And we'd have a competition whose hair was longer. Every other weekend when I'd see him, "Whose hair is longer, Jason?" He got me beat though. But we would wear the Oakley sunglasses whenever we played baseball and wear the fat Mizumo gloves like we were going to steal bases every game. I'll never forget when Jose Canseco was traded for Ruben Sierra in 1992. Jason was so mad that he called the Fresno Bee. They published his quote, and his quote, I remember it just said, "All I have to say is, Ruben!" And he hung up the phone. Throughout all those junior high and high school years, Jason played for teams that my dad coached, for Roosevelt Babe Ruth, and for Winter League Baseball, Hal Wendell tournaments, all the traveling teams. Jason was right there, and we played with some great talent, that some of which went on to play for the major leagues, but Jason was right in the middle of that lineup, and he held his own. He was very, very solid. He was great. My brother Steve, he's here somewhere. He used to love when some of the Mexican players on our team would say, "Man, that Japanese guy can hit!" But my favorite baseball story of Jason was when we were 16, he hit a home run over the left field fence. And as soon as he knew the ball went over the fence, he started pumping his fist and yelling, Ryan, I dinged, Ryan, I dinged." It was so funny because, first of all, it was so disrespectful to the pitcher. But we all gave him a standing ovation. We always did that. We give each other a standing ovation. And we just had that as a tradition. But we were all there to greet him at home plate. And he would always tell me that it's all downhill after that. But that's who Jason was. I reflect on that as like the perfect example of who Jason was, because he didn't care about somebody, hurting someone's feelings, as long as he did things on his terms, and he had a lot of fun in life. He had a lot of moments like that where it may not be appropriate for me to share, but they were great moments. And separately from baseball, I remember what a great student he was. He was always in the smart class in elementary school, and in junior high he went to Computech, which not everyone can get into. And I remember it a little differently. I remember he got an award for never missing a day of high school. All 4 years, not missing a day of high school. And I always thought, man, that's like the Iron Man. That's like the Iron Man award. But I was always amazed by that. But he loved debating political issues. Oh man, when you got on the politics, You better watch out. If you disagree, you better watch out. So I learned after a while, I better just say, you know what, you're right, Jason, that's ridiculous. But when I heard he was moving to Mexico, I actually heard about it before he told me about it. And I was prepared to tell him, damn, Jason, you know, you're the only guy in the whole world crossing the border the other way. He loved that one. He did mention how many times he enjoyed living in Mexico, places he would eat, and where he would smoke cigars, and how relaxed it was, and he would always brag about it. Come down and see me. Come down. So I echo what the previous gentleman said about, you know, he was really happy being down there, and so I truly believe that, and it helps me cope with what happened to him. But a year ago, he came to visit me in San Diego, and he got to meet my 9-year-old son, Jacob. And he couldn't get over how close alike we looked. He said, man, you know, it's just like talking to you when you were 9. It's crazy. But he asked if my son was playing baseball, and of course I said, yeah, you know. And it just turned into a day where we just reminisced about all the old days in Sunnyside growing up, and we would just ride bikes everywhere. And it was just a different time. We'd play wiffle ball until 1 o'clock in the morning, and until the neighbors would call complaining. My dad would come out, time to go to bed. But it was common for the same group to get together all those years. You know, it may have been a 6 to 8 year span, but to us it was our whole childhood. So I want to recognize that same group of people, including Clayton and Chad Cheney, Ryan Bauer, Danny Montoya, my brother Steve, Kevin Parker, Danny Waugh, Marcos Mendoza, and of course Jason and myself. Nearly all those guys from like 40 years ago, I named, are here today to pay respect to a guy that we considered a legend, Jason Kagawa. Looking back, I rank those years as the best days of my life, and I just want to say that I owe a lot of that to my friend Jason. So, may not be appropriate, but to me and Jason it would be. I would ask everyone to stand and give one last round of applause for my friend, the legend, Jason Kagawa.
Thank you, Ryan, for bringing Jason to life for the rest of us. Is there anyone else that would like to say something? No? Oh.
Oh, yeah. Nearly my whole life, I've had the honor and the privilege to have Jason as my friend. And I remember when we started our friendship, we were kids and we'd split up into groups for different reasons of sports, parties, and whatnot. And Jason came up to me. He's like, hey, man, you got to get me in your group, man. And I was like, oh, you want to be in my group, Jason? He's like, yeah, man, please get me in your group. And I said, okay. And I know Jason was joking around, be like, man, that other group, man, there's a lot of nerds in that other group, man. So I did, and oh man, we were such great friends for life. And I want to clarify this, at least from Jason's point of view. Jason told me that from elementary school through high school, that he won this award for for never missing a grade. I'm never missing a class. And I said, hey, Jason, I don't even know if that's an award I'd want to win. And he said, I never missed. I said, how'd you do that, Jason? He said, my whole life I never got sick. I said, really? He said, he never got sick. Jason and I and some people here, we were one of the first people ever to play fantasy baseball. It was like in the 80s. And I remember we had so much fun doing that. And Jason and I would say, hey man, I think we were the first ever to play fantasy football. And I remember I said, hey Jason, we could do this fantasy football. We could do what we do in fantasy baseball. We could do it with football. And Jason and someone else were like, nah man, no one's gonna want to play fantasy football. So we did that, and Jason played fantasy football with me for nearly 25 years. And we called our group who played together the League. Oh man, Jason loved the League. And oh man, we did trips, Vegas, LA, San Francisco, and most importantly, Florida, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and Orlando. And when Jason would travel, he wouldn't bring luggage. It would be a 10-day trip. He wouldn't bring luggage. He'd just bring this briefcase. And I'd say, Jason, we're here for 10 days, 14 days. What are you going to do with this briefcase? He's like, no, man, I got it. I'm good. Jason would go in Florida, it'd be 125 degrees and humidity. And Jason would wear dress slacks and loafers, no shirt, Buddha belly. And he'd walk for 2 hours on A1A on the beach with his big 80s headphones. Gosh, he loved those trips. He would do 2-hour walks, and man, he loved it so much over there in Florida, the beach, the warm water, Disney World, the nightclubs, the dinners, the music. He loved the music so much, the Florida dance music. He'd make us in our hotel room play the music all night. We couldn't, while we slept, the music had to keep playing. I'm wondering how we even fell asleep with that music going. When the trip was over, the flight attendants would say, hey, anyone would like to give up their ticket, you could go the next day. You stay one more night. And we give you a hotel too. And Jason would be like, guys, let's stay. Let's not go back, man. I never wanted to end. Our nickname for Jason was Ironhead, or the IH, because when we played tackle football, you couldn't tackle this guy, man. It would take 10 people to tackle him. He was like Ironhead Hayward. And you wouldn't want to be the first guy to try to tackle him, let me tell you. And I never was. I would come in after a couple of guys would slow him down. Jason and I would talk on the phone for hours and hours. Actually, maybe it was too long. It was a long time. It was so much. And Jason was the greatest talker, and I think that's why he was such a great salesman. But one gift that Jason had, he really had this amazing gift that he was a phenomenal listener. You could rattle up some stuff, and Jason would, pinpoint exactly what he needed to say, with great accuracy. I was telling Kelly, maybe Jason should have been a psychologist. He was good. He could not only listen, but give the best advice. He truly was one of the smartest guys and had the most amazing brain and personality. During Lent, as I was Catholic, 40 days before Easter, we have to give something up. And every year, I would give up talking on the phone past 11 at night. And oh man, Jason would be upset about that. He'd get really upset because I'd say, Jason, it's 10:59, I gotta go. And he's like, no. And now it's sad, I see my phone late at night and I look at it, I'm like, oh man. Jason, he had such a smile and the greatest, loudest laugh. He was always so excited to see you, Whenever I would come to visit him at his parents' house, he would be so excited to play video games, listen to music, show me the baseball cards that he had. Now, Jason was a warrior at those video games. He'd play those video games. He didn't care if he lost. He'd want a rematch. Let's go. And he could lose 4 in a row. He'd say, let's go again. He didn't care if he lost because he was always trying to get better. And I remember one time, He set me up. He called me and he said, hey man, my parents are out of town and they said you could come spend the night. And I said, oh really? He's like, yeah, and my mom made these chocolate chip cookies. And the chocolate chips are bigger than 50-cent pieces, man. You gotta get over here. And I was like, okay. He was so excited I got there. It was a setup. He was practicing his video games and he just annihilated me that whole weekend. And he never let that go. He always brought it up. He was so proud. And you know, Jason was a great athlete too. He wasn't a tall guy, but he was really good at basketball. And not only was he good at basketball, he was good at wrestling, judo, and a great baseball hitter. One thing I want to say about Jason, he was such a supportive friend. I was in a play in high school, and he didn't come once, he didn't come twice, he didn't come 3 times. And I have a video of him. He says he came 4 times to my play. And then in 2022, I was a guest artist at a Fresno State play, and Jason came twice. I was thinking about it now. I'm ever in a show again, it's going to seem a little empty without Jason there. And no matter what, as my brother said, when it'd be my birthday at midnight, right around there, I'd get a phone call or a text from Jason saying happy birthday, and we never missed each other's birthday. Jason and I used to have this phrase where we laugh all the time about this phrase. He told me, man, I got the worst luck ever, man. You know, for 10 years in a row, I've had 10 straight sets of bad roommates. He goes, what do you got to say about that, man? And he loved this. I said, maybe it's not the roommates. And that was this little code phrase we always had for each other was, maybe it's not the roommates. And he would use that against me too. I'd be like, hey, you know, and he'd be like, maybe it's not the roommates. You know, Jason, he wasn't a hater on people. He always saw the talent in someone else. You know, he could tell you, oh man, you could do this, or you could do that, or that person could do this. He was so great at seeing the other's greatness. And I think on himself, maybe he was a little harder than that, because he had so much greatness himself. Oh gosh, the last time I saw Jason, he was living at his parents' house. Oh, he was doing so great there. He was calm, he was funny, he was fabulous to be around. Jason was just doing so good over there. I remember he told me in the Buddhist religion that he said one important thing was moderation. And I'm like, Jason, I mean, I wish we did a little more moderation. So I was so sad to hear when he told me he was going to move to Mexico. I said, Jason, don't go, man. Please don't go. And I wish, Jason, I could talk to him, like force you now not to go there, man. And I can see his car now. He sent me a video of him driving into Mexico. And on his side of the road, there was like 12 lanes. They're all empty while him driving in. And on his video on the other side, it was like 12 hours pack to pack trying to come in. And I was like, and he showed me this video. He's all proud. He said, Jason, I don't know. That says something in the video. Hey, Jason, it's not right you left us all. You know, we miss you. And because you're gone now, you leave me with no phone calls past 11 forever. Well, I want to thank you, brother, for all the great times, the trips, the movies, oh, the dinners. Jason loved dinners. WWE. Jason told me that his mom told him, hey, Jason, don't you watch anything else besides wrestling? All the laughs, wiffle ball, baseball, video games, all the phenomenal phone calls. If I went on, it'd go on forever. So many years of happiness. And I just want to thank you for choosing and allowing me to be your friend. I love you, Jason. The IH, my longest and most loyal friend. I have a vision now of Jason driving in that car on the highway. But this time he doesn't go to Mexico. This time that the car just keeps driving straight through the clouds and straight to heaven. I still somehow, Jason, I still want to hear from you on my birthday some way, somehow. And I gotta say goodbye now, Jason. I don't want to, but I know I'll see your smile and your laugh again. And save a spot for me there, Jason. Thank you.
Oh, your name is?
Oh, I'm Stephen Cloud.
Steve Iron, so you're your brother?
Yeah.
Ah, very good. Well, thank you for sharing. Anyone else? Last chance. No? Okay, in that case, family, please remain seated. Everyone else, please stand for the singing of Namo Amida Butsu. Oh, please be seated. Okay, Reverend God will now give the Dharma talk and on white ashes.
Samanda. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for participating in Jason's funeral service and Seventh-day Memorial service this morning. And first of all, I'd like to express my sincere condolence to the Kagawa family. Especially yesterday afternoon, we had graveside service in Thunder Cemetery. So at the time, after service, I had the time for like a opportunity to talk to the junior about the legal condition, the background. So now I like to share my experience and stories regarding the Jason and also what happened in my experience throughout my life. But first of all, I'd like to thank Junior for sharing the Jason's life, also the Ryan, and also the Stevens, and also Alex, Andy, sharing the part of great memory of Jason.
But before I start sharing my personal ones, I'd like to start about why the Buddhists conduct the funeral service and memorial service. So some of you came to the service because you're the friends of Jason. So maybe the first time you're attending Buddhist service, then you may question why Buddhists conduct service, what the meaning, especially all the ritual stuff. In the Buddhist tradition, we conduct a service, like funeral service and memorial service, to remember and appreciate, celebrate, preserve loved ones' memories. So this is not duty, no obligation to conduct a service. Because Buddhism is not religion. Buddhism is ways of living. Then looking about Jason, living up to Mexico, that's way of his living. That's how the Buddhists pursue the appreciation from their everyday life. That's the Buddhist ultimate goal. So today we are conducting funeral and memorial service, the seventh day memorial service on the program. So some people wonder, so I'd like to explain that. So the funeral service and seventh day memorial service is originally the separate service, which means after 7th day from the funeral service or the day from the passing, we conduct a service. The reason why we conduct the seventh day memorial service is to how you spend 7 days before Jason's passing and after 7 days, how you spend your life after you hearing his passing. Yeah, sure, definitely. Yeah. Before 7 days, nothing indications. No one knew what's going to happen. But the day you're told he passed away, how did you feel? What came up to your mind? So those kind of memories, after year and a year, all these memories will discolor and cease. Maybe about 20 some years from now on, you may not recall how did you feel first 7 days. That's why this is an opportunity that every time we conduct a day service or yearly service, that is an opportunity to recalling back how you feel. That's why seventh day memorial service is combined, especially for the funeral service, is to how did you spend the first 7 days after you heard his passing. Especially during the time right now, it's really significant. After 15 days, his birthday. So supposed to, he'll turn 49. Then, which reminds me personally, because 1976, the year I was born. So that really, like when I was hearing about how he was doing video game and stuff, I started remembering, oh yeah, at the time when I was in high school, I was doing all video games. Although I did not grow up with Jason, but I kind of got along with the feeling how he spent the middle school and high school age and how he was doing the stuff. Yeah, I was also crazy about baseball when I was little. Although I look not like a baseball player now, but at the time when I was in middle school and high school, I was doing all the play, baseball and stuff. And also video games over the night. That's how kind of connect to how the Jason was enjoying the life and the way how he was trying to pursue his dream. Even like a close friend surprise. Are you going to Mexico? But that's how he had inside, how he wanted to make his dream wish come true. That's how I sense that, the way how he lived is he was always trying to pursue his way of living. That's the way how Buddhists live their own life. Ways of living. Ways of living. So today also we are conducting the ritual portion of the funeral service. And some people may wonder why we conduct like a Buddhist name presentation, the whole meal. So he got the Buddhist name called Josho, pure illumination. Pure illumination. That he was pursuing his own vision, his mind, to wish to fulfill his dream. That's why I chose this name, the pure illumination. Then some people wonder why we present or we saw the presentation of Buddhist name is that in Buddhist tradition we understand when people passed away, the person become Buddha. But Buddha not become like a god, becoming like a god. Instead, becoming a Buddha has two meanings. One is the historical person who started Buddhist teachings, that we understand as a Buddha. The another meaning of Buddha is ideal teacher. Ideal teacher. So the day you were told or notified his passing, then in your mind came up all the memories of Jason. But suddenly at the time you realize no more new memory to create with him. At the time you realize life's impermanence. How much you enjoy your life and how healthy you are, it is impossible to live forever. That's integrated to my personal memories. The reason why I became a minister is because I'm not a devout Buddhist. Instead, I lost my cousin when I was college. Then my auntie and uncle was always lament. Then I was the closest friend of my cousins. So I didn't have any story and talk to share. I just be with them. So almost every night I was visiting my cousin's home. And no talk. And sometimes when they are feeling okay, I start sharing how I was doing a PlayStation 2 at the time, at the video games. Since then, whenever I have an opportunity to go back to the country, because where I came from, Japan, even I did not have a chance to meet at the time for my parents, I always visited my cousins, which means my uncle and auntie's house, to visit his obutsudan. They have a little altar with a picture and urn. That's always I visited. The last time I visited in last November, so I spent the whole day at my cousin's house. After 23 years after his passing, I still remember how I was enjoying in my middle school and high school and college time, playing together. Then my auntie said, "Thank you, Cass. You still remember my song." Even many people, the friends come, first 5-10 years, but after 20 years, they have their own family and move out from the cities. Then little by little, they start losing the connections, relations. But I just continue to visit. Even I didn't make any notice phone call. I just suddenly called in the interphone. And people, they say, "Hey, cousin came here." No, where's my cousin? That's how I used to go. Even I didn't make any notice. They say, "Oh, cuz, I thought you came." Because that's a rude way how you go to visit your family's home, right? But that's how I gradually try to understand the sadness of the loss of a child. I have no power, no skill to recoup anything. I just try to keep sharing the memory what in my brain piece by piece. Even after some 20 years, I start recalling all the story. Oh yeah, when I was in 7th grade, oh I did this with my cousins. Even you don't remember right now, after 5-10 years, you may start remembering those kind of memories. That's why in Buddhist tradition, memorial service, like a 3-year memorial service, 7-year memorial service, 13th year memorial service is coming up for Jason. Please attend and share your own personal memories. Maybe Junior and Kelly may not knowing those kind of stories. But once you start sharing those kind of stories, then you start sharing these unique memories, which they are missing. So I hope everyone take this opportunity to remember and appreciate, celebrate, preserve Jason's memories, and keep sharing. That's the way he will continuously live in your heart, in your memories, as long as you appreciate. In closing, I'd like to share one of the episodes written by Renya Shonin about 500 years ago in Japan. The letter is originally wrote by the request by the family who lost, the family lost the child. At the time, the parents questioned why my child had to die. Why my child had to die before the parents. So at the time, the parents questioned to the master. The master replied with his letter. The letter is known as the White Ashes. So in closing, I'd like to share his letter titled On the White Ashes. So please close your eyes and recall all the wonderful memories you shared with Jason. In closing, please join me in Gassho. On the white ashes, in silently contemplating the transit nature of human existence, nothing is more fragile and fleeting in this world than the life of man. Thus we have not heard of human life lasting for 1,000 years. Life passes swiftly, and few among men can maintain their form for even 100 years. Whether I go before others, or others go before me, whether it be today or tomorrow, who is to know? Those who depart before us are as countless as Jericho's dew. Though in the morning we may have radiant health, in the evening we may return to white ashes. When the winds of impermanence blow, our eyes close forever, and when the last breath leaves us, our face loses its color. Though loved ones may gather and amend, everything is to no avail. The body is then sent into an open field, and vanishes from this world with the smoke of cremation, leaving only the white ashes. Nothing is more real than this truth of life. The fragile nature of human existence underlies both the young and the old. Therefore, we must, one and all, turn to the teachings of the Buddha Dharma and awaken to the essence of life. By so understanding the meaning of death, we come to appreciate the meaning of this life, which is to be treasured because it is unrepeatable. By virtue of true compassion, let us realize and exert the value of this existence, and let us live together with gratitude in our hearts. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.
I would like to call upon Junior again to give the words of appreciation.
thank you, Reverend Nakata, for officiating today's services and the burial service yesterday at the Sanger Cemetery. And thank you for the outpouring of cards, flowers, koden, plants, and food over the past 3 months. And a special thank you to Nicole Pursuti for organizing a food train which kept us eating meals every day for weeks and weeks. Chairman Lynn Hamamoto, thank you, and the funeral committee, Glenn, Sharon Hamamoto, and Leslie Ohashi, for organizing today's funeral, and pianist Gail Nakai, audio visual Greg Tsunama. For those of you who didn't know that, this was also on Zoom. Ushers, this has a double meaning. Old friends, Sam Masumoto and Bob Okamoto, they're old. Choba, Florence Hamamoto, Leslie Ohashi, Carolyn Okamoto, floral tribute to Hunter Arakawa. We're going to have a lunch at the Golden Harbor Buffet. It's on 3273 West Shaw, and it's behind American Tire. If you're heading west on Shaw, it's on the left-hand side of the road. It's called the Golden Harbor. You can look it up on your GPS. And that's it. Thank you for attending.
Okay, this ends the service, but let me tell you that we have a problem. What happens if the family just stays there, then when you oshoko or offer incense, it just jams everything up, okay? So Junior and June and I talked about what are we going to do after the service, and one thought was go outside, but it's a little cold out there, but so the other thing was staying on the side, but you realize that there are chairs all over? It's there's a lot of people here. Thank you all for coming. So what I did during Namo Amidabutsu, I actually ran outside to check the temperature, and I think it's okay. So stand in the sun though, in the shade it's a little cool, okay, but yeah, stand in the sun. So I'm going to give time for the family to go out there, and ushers, please, from the back, allow people to come forward, but give the family a chance to leave. And Hunter, yeah, that side, right? Okay, all right. And again, thank you. You know, we did not know how many people would be coming here. We have no idea. It's just amazing the number of people are here. Okay. Yeah, the rest of the family can remain here. Okay, can remain. Yeah, just immediate family. Okay. Taking the aisle. Hunter, I'm taking the right aisle. Again, thank you very much, everyone. If you don't mind, go around this way, okay?
Oh, go around
Yeah,
this way?
yeah, because they're coming out. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you. Is it okay to do
Sure.
that?
Oh, yes, please, everyone. Yeah. Can you make it? Okay. The shoulder. On the shoulder. Huh? Yeah, you can't do it all of them. You're not going clapping tomorrow. You know, tomorrow. What are you kidding me? Yes, all right. Go get up there. Let's see. You know, we can sign up. I know we can. And the waiver should be fine. So, you know, you all know we can. And see, he said that. Yeah, he said that. So, we have reservations. You know, we'll call it my name. But 7 feet of the street is pretty wide. Yeah. So anyway, didn't want to point it. He discouraged her. He can't do it. Yeah. All right. Okay, you're gonna go out to, you're gonna go do Golden Hopper? Oh, no, yeah, you gotta go. Take it up again, he's out there. Right.
Gonna hang out with us in a bit, that letter? Could end up at my place, I don't know. I'll know what the hell's going on. I mean, you could probably just head over to my house so you don't waste time, or meet up with you, wherever. Probably just outside.
I used to cut Jason's hair. I used to work at Sunnyside. I finally cut
You
your hair
look,
too.
you look very familiar.
I used to work at Sunnyside Barber Shop.
Yeah.
I was your dad's name on street.
Yeah.
Your dad
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
This is,
Long
I
time
moved
ago.
out of there. Well, I lived in Newton.
That was that by the video store?
You know, it used to be there, the liquor store across, and then there was a Sunrise Kitchen, and then
Right,
there was
there
Sports
was
Club,
the sports lounge,
and then there was,
Sunrise Kitchen, the
you were
trophy
right.
shop,
And
the
then
barber shop.
that
Yeah.
was 100 years ago.
Man, I remember they put the Pizza Hut there.
Well, now they got that, what do you call it?
I don't know. I rarely come to town. I don't know what's there now.
Jason, but me and Junior lived out together all the time.
Oh, fantastic! Yeah.
That's quite a while.
Well, thanks
I
for
got
saying
two.
hello, man.
I don't remember if I did or didn't. I might have cut your hair.
Maybe once or twice. Definitely familiar.
It's about time.
Good to see you.
I didn't mean to talk.
I tried to stay standing up anyways. Thank you, guys. And that we should take a photo.